everyone. Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the therapy floor.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
We're here.
Here, finally.
Hi, Dr. Vicki.
Hi, Dr. Ritz. How you doing?
I'm really good.
Good.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right too.
Great.
I'm doing all right.
So we are both counselling psychologists and really good friends.
Yeah.
I actually don't have many friends who are psychologists. I find like them really rare to find.
Do you?
Do you? We've got quite a few.
Actually, no. I don't know why I was thinking, that's weird. You don't have many psychologist friends. Actually, I have a few therapist friends. Oh, no, actually, I do have quite a few.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they're friends. They've become friends after we've met through work.
Through work. Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess I kind of mentioned that because let's talk about what we're doing here today and why we're here today. So Vicki and I met when we were at university and we were both training to be psychologists.
That was a wild time.
It was a really, really wild time.
But a good time.
A really good time. And quite an intense time sometimes as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
Do you know, it's so funny saying this because on my Facebook, it came up as a timeline like this time 8 years ago or 9 years ago was the picture of me, you and Kirsty once we had completed our vivas.
Oh, when we were outside.
Yeah, outside by the lake.
Oh.
Like, oh, we're done. This journey has come to an end. I know.
That was do you know what? I feel so appreciative of so many things, but one of them being you.
Oh, thanks, doll.
I really do.
I feel so appreciative of you too.
So whilst we were training together, I actually didn't even really know what podcasts were. It wasn't even that long ago, but about what, like 8 years or so ago?
10 years
10
now.
years, okay. I really didn't know a huge amount. I think I knew of like a couple, but I wasn't really into them or anything. And Vicki had this idea, let's do, whilst we're training and we're learning knowledge and we're researching, we're having these ideas, we're debating, we're challenging ourselves, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, sure, let's do that. And then you came over to my apartment when we were living in London.
Can I just say I completely forgot about this? I completely forgot that this happened until you just reminded me not too long ago.
And I don't know what I was expecting, but she literally rocked up with this massive thing and was like, here's a microphone, now we just talk. And I was like, what do you mean we just talk? And she's like, I've just plugged it into here. Then she did these. I thought she was some sort of I was just so blown away, what is happening?
Wow. Yeah.
And then it just went nowhere.
It didn't go anywhere.
Go anywhere. And then what happened after that?
Then flash forward to post-quad. I mean, this was maybe 3 years ago. 3-4 years ago. Actually, 4-5 years ago.
This was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, pre-lockdown. Yeah.
And then you brought up the idea of us doing a podcast.
Yeah, I remember I just kind of started listening to them and I was quite drawn into the wellness industry and just self-reflect, podcasts that kind of get you to think, a bit of self-reflection. And I remember calling you, I think. I was driving from somewhere and I was just calling you through my hands-free and being like, we need to do a podcast. I feel like there isn't anyone that's in this space where there's two psychologists that can have a bit of banter but also are talking to each other about what they're doing, what they're thinking, their working profession.
At least not in the UK.
No, I don't think I've come across it yet. Yeah. Maybe there are, but, I'm not going to blanket that and say there's nobody doing it. But people that I was, tending to follow or listen to. Yeah.
And I was definitely on board with it again. Love a podcast. Always find a reason to listen to a podcast when I'm driving, doing laundry, cooking. I love listening to podcasts and watching podcasts as well. And then I think we just kind of like...
Nothing happened. We have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And then nothing. Does anyone else ever do that? Like you have these ideas and then like you feel really motivated and then nothing happens.
Or I start something and then I get bored of it and then it just fizzles out and I'm like, on to the next.
I find that I don't even get bored. For me, it's the time.
Okay.
Like I feel like I don't have the time to commit to stuff sometimes. Like I have so many ideas. Like I want to do this, I could do this, I could do this. And then it's like finding the time to like prioritize and commit to it, to take that like step into it. Like I think you're ahead of me. Like you get boredom. I don't even get to boredom.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of like gusto to be like, yeah, let's go and do it.
Yeah.
And then maybe I don't necessarily think about the time or the commitment or what it will take to actually continue with it, get good at it, like hone my craft, because I found out that I only like doing stuff that I know I'm naturally very good at.
Me too. Me too. I'm sometimes a bit like an ostrich in that sense. Like if I don't understand it and can grasp it, then I'm like, like I just want to I want to come back to what I know and what I'm good at, and or I'll be like, well, can you help me? Someone else deal with that, or
same. I like doing things that just are very easy for me to pick up, and so I mean, talking is not an issue, but when it came to the the production side of things, it was just taking like too much time, and I was like, oh, I have other things.
I'm actually quite impressed with the two of us, considering we have no knowledge in the technology field whatsoever.
No, literally, we just research as we go.
Yeah, that we have managed to set this up today.
Why are we on the floor?
So we're on the floor because, so personally, okay, this is going to sound really funny or not, or weird, you decide. Right, so as a therapist, actually, for a long time, when I have been in my therapy chair, sometimes I'm like moving around a lot, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, why do I sometimes find it really difficult to sit still?
Yeah.
Then I realised it's because I'm actually really short. Chairs are not made for short people. Like my feet don't touch the ground.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my feet would get cold. And you know what I'm like when I get cold.
Oh yeah. Ritz would. Oh, sorry. Can I say this?
I know what you're about to say.
Ritz would bring her totty, and I'd never heard of a hot water bottle being called a totty before. But Ritz brought her totty to lectures, and when we had breaks for tea and coffee, she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna top up my totty," and literally we would do that.
And one time when we were in group therapy, because we had to do group therapy as part of our training, someone thought it would be really funny to take my totty.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it was you and Jake that did it.
No, was it? Oh.
It was a cold day. I was really upset.
I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Hashtag.
So coming back to, I don't like being cold. I don't like having cold feet. I don't like having wet feet. Do you remember one time I actually left uni because my feet were so wet from the rain? I was like, I can't even concentrate.
Yeah. I thought I loved being comfortable, but you love being comfortable.
So then I thought about, well, where do I always feel most comfortable? And I was like, I love sitting on the floor. Like I love leaning back on something and sitting on the floor. It's my favourite thing to do. Or on a sofa, sitting on the sofa and leaning back and having my feet up. And then that's kind of where the floor idea came from. I kind of like said to you, like, what do you think about sitting next to each other on the floor and just having a chat?
Yeah. And I thought, great, fab. Yeah. So the therapy floor. And I really like the idea of being just grounded. Like, a lot of our therapies, particularly when it comes to like mindfulness and things like that, the mind-body connection, we encourage people to like feel the floor, like just make contact with it. It just has a grounding, earthing, kind of like coziness, security vibe to it. So I thought, what better way?
And it just felt right, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
What are we going to be talking about?
So we have been asking people to send us in their dilemmas. So it can literally be anything you're experiencing, anything you know somebody else is experiencing, and we're just asking people to send us in those dilemmas, but really flesh them out for us, you know, set the scene, give us a bit of context so that we can then get into it. And what I mean by get into it is we're hopefully going to give you a bit of an insight into when somebody asks a psychologist a question or presents them with a dilemma. You know, in the therapy room, we're not often talking for that long. You know, what we're saying is quite concise. We have this running commentary going on in our heads, don't we?
Like we have to connect the dots.
And we have like theories coming in and research coming in and training coming in and, you know, past clinical experiences coming in.
And how we feel in the room with the client is coming into that as well.
Exactly. So we're picking up on quite a few different things, as you said, joining the dots. But what you're going to be hearing is the joining of the dots.
I like that. So we're really giving people an insight into this is how a psychologist may think about a particular issue. Because yes, in the therapy room, you might just hear, we do share a little bit of our workings out. You know, like in maths, GCSEs, show your working out. We do a little bit of that, but I guess we wouldn't flesh it out so much, but that's what we're going to show you so you can see.
Or if we do flesh it out, it's also over quite a long period of time. We're always kind of like holding everything they're saying in mind, and then we might come back to, oh, do you remember like a couple of months ago when you mentioned, because we feel like, you know, when you're setting a relationship up with a client, you've got to build in that trust. You've got to build in that safety. You've got to build in that connection. So you might not necessarily, you know, like go straight in with something. You know, you're kind of like going to gauge it first. As you get to know them. So, but I guess we're going to not do that in here. We're just
going to talk
and say it how we see it. How we think it, how we feel it, the vibe we get.
And this is also great because we can literally bounce off of each other, because obviously you also have your way of working and I have my way of working, and so it would be great to just hear things even from a different perspective, from another psychologist's perspective.
Absolutely. And like, you know, you're part of that team that I always go to when I have a client and I feel a bit stuck. I'm like, oh, there's just something I'm not getting, there's something I'm missing, I can't put my finger on it, and I'll voice note you.
Same.
And then you've got it.
Same.
And I'm like, oh, yes. That's it.
It's just the benefit of being outside. Given an objective point of view. So that's what we're going to be sharing with you guys. That's what the floor is about. And I think it's also important that we also contribute to the wellness space. And I'm very clear that as a therapist, I'm not black and white. You know, I can dish out advice, but that advice cannot be applied to everyone on this planet. Do you know what I mean? Like, people can be going through a similar thing, but the advice for one person may not suit the other person. So I often find that at times we can look to social media or, you know, the people that are out there, and we're looking for some nuggets, aren't we? We're looking for something that we can apply to ourselves, and we take it and we run with it. And also, I guess, because someone speaks with some authority and they speaking from their experience, and we can apply it to our lives. But what I want to encourage us to do and you to do is to be curious and look for the nuance, apply some context to it, and not just take things at face value. I mean, one of the big topics is like boundaries. Like, we hear about boundaries a lot currently.
It's a big buzzword, isn't it?
It is. And we can read a blanket statement like, enforce your boundaries. If someone doesn't respect your boundaries, cut them off or move on. But that's not the advice that I would be given in therapy, because I'd be like, okay, who is this person to you? What has come about? What's the background here? What's your history? Why does this mean so much to you? How have you enforced boundaries before? Do you know what I mean? There's just so much nuance to it. So that's what we're also hoping to do, to encourage you to be your own researchers and to be curious about your own lives, because I think that's our specialism, isn't it? We're people researchers.
We're people researchers, and we really help people to understand actually they are the expert in their
100%.
own lives.
100%.
Our job is really to be almost like that mind detective. And, you know, I think that's one of the other interesting things about being a bit more self-reflective is learning to really take that control back. Because often I think when we have a dilemma and we get stuck, we often see, or if I could just change this, or if I could just change that, and try and make these perfect conditions for our lives to live our lives in. And actually, like, there's no control in the world in that sense. Like, the only control you really have is your own self, your own autonomy. And I think helping a client, a person, an individual to really get that control of their own autonomy is my job, my role.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, that hopefully just gives you a little nugget of what you're gonna get if you stay on the floor with us and keep listening.
Yeah, I hope you do.
Yeah, me too. I really hope you do. And I'm looking forward to hearing people's dilemmas. I'm looking forward to also learning from you.
Yep, same.
And learning from you guys as well.
Exactly.
Whatever we are going to learn, whatever you're going to tell us, teach us, whatnot. But yeah, we just really look forward to you sitting on the floor with us and joining us and going deeper and deeper into the human experience.
Love that.
Yay! Bye for now.
Bye.